Welcome into a bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. This week, Samuel Montembeault. He is the hot stuff in the Montreal market. Could he be the future goaltender of this franchise? And keep in mind, guys, in the last 6 NHL drafts, 5 of the 6 drafts, the Habs have taken one goaltender. So, is he the future, given that he's making $1 million this year and next year?
Yeah, I think it was around this time of year in 2015-16 that our friend Arpon Basu put out a hilariously, in retrospect, tweet. He tweeted that this isn't a mirage with Mike Condon. This is real. If you remember, that was the year that Carey Price missed most of the season, I think all but 12 games, and Mike Condon played half of a season spectacularly. And then all of a sudden, things completely fell apart. Now, I think Sam Montembeault is significantly better than Mike Condon in terms of his fundamentals. He's a better skater. He's a better. He moves better on the ice. But I think this is too small of a sample size to be talking about goaltender of the future. I think the Canadiens have some decent goaltending prospects in the system, and they've got years ahead where they can find a goaltender that fits the timeline of their rebuild. I think Sam Montembeault is a fantastic stopgap measure, and he's proven this year that he's not just a guy. He can be a player in the NHL for a long time. I hope he has a long career. But to me, he's at the most a 1B guy, probably a very good backup for a good team.
I think you need a defined future. For me, future, as you mentioned, Andrew, if it's maybe 4 years, could he be the goalie of the future for the next 4 years? I think so. It's possible. But after that 4 years, they're going to be right. Like, that's going to be when the rebuild is really going to be at its top, right? They got to be ready to go then. And I think at that point, the real goalie of the future will be either somebody they draft in the next year or two, or they make a trade for an established goalie and bring him in as their future number one. But I think for Sam Montembeault, he's, as you mentioned, Andrew, sort of a stopgap thing. He looks like he maybe could be that guy to carry them for the next 3-4 years. Maybe this has done also, if Jake Allen could come back and play well, coming back from his injury, and there's a team desperate for goaltending at the trade deadline, the Canadiens might be able to get something for Jake Allen and be willing to trade him and be less reluctant about it than they might have been without seeing Sam Montembeault during the stretch. But I mean, Rick, you know better than anybody, goalies are weird, man. You know, you remember Steve Penny, the chance of Penny at the old Forum. He was amazing, and then all of a sudden he wasn't amazing. And that's goalies are weird.
Pennies from heaven, remember it very well. It was like, wow, like so ugly to watch, but the puck kept hitting him. But Sam Montembeault, in Sam's case, listen, we used to shake our head quite often early on when we'd say, "Oh, look at the goal that he let in. Look at the way he's playing. He got he blew up in this particular game." And we all know that position is the most difficult one on the team, and you got to give full marks when marks are due. And Sam Montembeault has shown better consistency in his play, and has really allowed the team to to be competitive. And you can't take that away from him. If you had a crystal ball and move the clock forward and say, okay, this guy's going to be a number one goalie, hey. You never know. You have to take, he's good as his last save, and he's making more saves than not, and he's showing great maturity and composure, and is handling himself very well. So I think that there's a very big upside with what we've seen to date, but in that position, which is like I said, a real tough one, you got to really establish yourself as a go-to guy, give your team a chance to win each and every night, and so far so good. But time will tell.
I mean, last season Montembeault played through a real painful injury to his wrist on his blocker side, and he was saying every time he made a blocker save, before he made the save, it was like, how much is this going to hurt? That's a hard way to play goalie. But he sucked it up and he played through it, and the Canadiens rewarded him after the season with a 2-year contract. He's healthy now. He's been playing much better, much more consistent. The main thing is the consistency. That's for an NHL goalie to be a number one goalie in any team, you need to be consistent. He hasn't been consistent in the past. Last season, part of that might have been the injury. As Kent Hughes said at his news conference, he's still young for a goalie. He's 26, but that is young for a goalie in the NHL. So we'll see moving forward. But again, he's definitely thrown his hat into the ring as far as being the goalie of the future. As I said, you need a defined future. The fact is, a francophone works in his favor too. I mean, in this market, you'd be burying your head in the sand if you didn't think the Canadiens would like to have a French kid who able to play goal for them. So, but if he's no good, that's not going to matter. But he's been playing well so far, and he's definitely, as I said, he's thrown his mask into the ring to be the Canadiens goalie of the future.
Well, very quickly here, guys. Look, he signed that 2-year deal last summer. He's going to the final 18 months of the deal. Let's say he does do well the remainder of the year. Do you suspect Ken Hughes might give him a second extension this summer to keep him in the fold for maybe 2, if not 3 more years?
Wouldn't be that surprising, but I think they'll probably wait on it.
Yeah.
There's no rush on it. I don't think that teams are necessarily banging down the door to try to find Sam Montembeault. I think that he's still kind of an unknown quantity around the NHL. This has been a surprisingly strong season for him. Going into the game against the Bruins, he was actually third in the entire NHL in goals saved above expected per game, which is shocking, but also tells you how bad the Canadiens have been defensively, because he's still letting in a fair amount of goals per game. He just faces so many shots. So it's a situation where if you rush to it, you might be overspending for short-term success as well. I don't know if you can keep this level of play up. I would expect maybe like midway through next season, if he continues to play this well, then he gets a bump in pay and a little bit of an extension.
Yeah, and if he gets lit up the next 3 games, we could be back on this show next week saying, "No, he can't be the goalie of the future."
Exactly.
That's the way it is with goaltending.
I hope he's given the opportunity to to play a number of games down the stretch here and see how he handles himself. And if he does well and continues to get the job done, why not? It's all about performance, and in that position, he's done a pretty good job so far. So let's let him play. Let's see what he can do, and then they can always decide, contractually what they want to do with him after the year.
So much of the NHL is taking advantage of an opportunity when it comes up. An opportunity came up. Nobody expected Jake Allen to get hurt and be out as long as he has. And Marty St. Louis, 8 games in a row, he's been riding him. When you talk with Sam Montembeault, he's a really nice kid. The players in the room like him, and it's nice to see a guy like that doing well.
Well, I'll leave you with this, guys. 13 years ago, Jarro Halak had the stop sign T-shirt. Once Montembeault has that stop sign T-shirt, you know you made it in this city as the Montreal Canadiens goaltender for the present and future. That'll do it for this bonus episode here at Hockey Inside Out. Submit us your questions and comments. Look forward to conversing about that on a future episode. Check out the YouTube page for all the Hockey Inside Out episodes. And for the newsletter, head on by the MontrealGazette.com/newsletter. And for bonus content and full episodes, check out Hockey Inside Out. On behalf of Rick, Andrew, and Stu, wish you a great week. We'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.